Hello and welcome to my channel. Welcome to another tarot reading from me. So today's topic is going to be on predictions for March 2025. And as usual, I want to start by saying that I have chosen these crystals intuitively. I meditated upon the question of which crystals should I use for this particular topic, and these are the crystals that came out in this order. So for those of you who want to choose with just crystals, you have these options. Pile number 1, you have this apatite. I think I've mentioned this in another video. I'm not sure what this is actually, if it's an apatite or a rose quartz, but here it is. This is your crystal, pile number 1. And pile number 2, you have this kunzite crystal. Pile number 3, you have this citrine cluster crystal. Okay. So these are your options. Once again, you can pause the video if you need more time to decide. My recommendation is that you take some deep breaths, take some time to meditate upon the question with your eyes closed. Exhale longer than you inhale. Take at least 5 deep breaths. Allow your mind to go blank a little bit. And then open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you intuitively. And of course, you can also address the question to a higher power like God or Spirit or whoever you follow and you have faith in, your higher self. It could be all kinds of things, or just to Spirit as I ask questions in my tarot readings. Yeah, and then choose your pile intuitively, like I said, without analytical or logical thinking, right? And if you feel drawn to more than one, of course, feel free to watch several or even all of them and just take whichever messages resonate. And before I sign off, I will remind you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It's the easiest way to support me and it is free. And also consider clicking on the notifications bell if you want to be notified when I post a new video. Also, feel free to comment in the comment section with any feedback you would like to share, how it resonated, how it didn't resonate, and of course, feel free to come back to this reading throughout the month of March, and yeah, keep me posted on how it resonates or not. Okay, as long as you keep it respectful, it's all good. So, thank you for listening, and I will see you at your pile. Alright, so this is for those of you who want to choose with a card as well as a crystal. This is going to be the selection phase. Sorry about the police or ambulance in the background. It happens every time I sit down to record a video almost, but let's not dwell. So, Spirit, tell me about pile number 1, the apatite crystal or the rose quartz crystal. What is the month of March 2025 going to bring for pile number 1? Spirit, what is the month of March 2025 going to bring for pile number 2? What messages does pile number 3 need to hear? All right. So let's see what you have. Pile number 1, we have Guardian Angel. Pile number 2, you have Ancestors. Pile number 3, you have Divine Timing. Okay, so these are your options. Let me try to focus. Okay, so this is for those of you who want to choose with a card as well as a crystal. Pile number 1, you have this card over here and or this apatite crystal. Well, as I said, I'm not sure if it's apatite or rose quartz. I'm trying to get it to focus, but yeah, here it is. Okay, pile number 1, pile number 2, you have this card over here and or this kunzite crystal. Pile number 3, you have this card over here and or this citrine cluster crystal. Yep, okay. So, once again, my recommendation is that you take some deep breaths, take some time to meditate upon the question. Wait, I have to fix this one. I'm being OCD about it. Yes, so take some deep breaths, meditate upon the question with your eyes closed. Try to exhale longer than you inhale. That will help center you and calm you down. And allow your mind to go blank a little bit, and then open your eyes and choose the first pile that stands out to you intuitively. Of course, you can also meditate upon the question while addressing it to a higher power like God or a deity that you follow, or spirits, or your ancestors, or your higher self, whatever you feel comfortable in and you have faith in. And yeah, open your eyes, choose the first pile that stands out intuitively. And if you feel drawn to more than one, feel free to watch several or even all of them and just take whichever messages resonate. And before I sign off, I will remind you once again to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It's the easiest way to support me and it is free. And also consider clicking the notifications bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new tarot reading. And of course, comment in the comment section with any feedback you would like to share, and feel free to come back to this reading throughout the month of March and maybe even later. And yeah, keep me posted on how this reading resonated. All right, and thank you for listening, and I will see you at your reading. So welcome pile number 1. This is your reading. If you have chosen this Guardian Angel card and or this Appetite / Rose Quartz, because I'm still not sure what it is, crystal. So this is going to be the card selection, and I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the interpretation if you don't want to sit through it. So I'm going to start with the tarot cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What does the month of March 2025 have in store for them? What do they need to hear? Tell me, Spirit. King of Wands, King of Swords, 3 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, Strength. Let's see. Tell me about pile number 1, Spirit. What does the month of March hold in store for them? What do they need to hear about the month of March 2025? Ten of Cups, High Priestess, the Fool, the Page of Pentacles. Oh, wow. The Tower, the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Oracle cards. Tell me, Spirit, what is the month of March going to bring for pile number 1? Tell me, what does the month of March bring for pile number 1? Tell me, Spirit, what does the month of March hold in store for my pile number 1? Tell me, what do they need to hear in order to make the most of their month of March 2025? So we have Courage, number 30. All right. We have Feelings. And then we have this card, Hunting Moon, Libra Baskets Adult with number 7. And I'm going to read the description for that from the booklet. Let's see. So, Hunting Moon, September 23rd to October 23rd. I am Hunting Moon. I am the preparation for the coming winter. Sorry. I'm here to remind you to prepare your house and put it in order. You must be mindful of relationships, be they partnerships, contracts, unions, or marriages. Things are not what they appear to be. There are times in relationships that it is best not to say anything, but to hear what is being said. Listen closely. Now is the time to consider your artistic side and create something of beauty and give it away. I provide strength for your hunt, your quest. I'm already getting a repeated message here. So look at this. We have Feelings, we have Courage, and we have the 4 of Pentacles. This is about preparation for winter time. I have to tell you, and again, this is not a feel-good reading. I don't do feel-good readings. I read what I see, all right? And this is Spirit giving you a heads up because there are some trying times ahead. We have the Tower here, we have the Ten of Wands, we have the Strength and the Four of Pentacles. And these are all going hand in hand with the Three of Swords and the Fool here in opposition. So look at this. And also interesting that on this Three of Swords in this deck, we have this succubus or succube, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Succubus with the Three of Swords, and underneath you have the Fool. So this is clearly telling me that in the month of March, you're going to be dealing with some kind of affairs of the heart that are challenging. We also have this with feelings here, and I feel like Spirit is telling you, especially for those of you who are already aware that, let's say you're in a bad relationship or your relationship is no longer serving you, this is a heads up. This is Spirit telling you that you have to do something about it. And the Three of Swords with the Fool in underneath basically just shows that this is about you being naive, being hurt because of your trusting nature, right? So the Fool is a very open-hearted sort of energy, and the Three of Swords is about heartbreak. So it definitely shows that you have trusted someone, trusted people too much, the wrong people. There could be, of course, a specific person, or it could be about relationships in general. And with the Ten of Wands here in the future, I would say that for most of you, this is not just one particular person. It's most likely multiple people. Like, you're going through a phase in March where you're going to start to think about who are the people that you want to have close to you, who are your true friends. If you're in a partnership, again, you're going to be rethinking about whether this is the right person for you. And it might be, a difficult process, but it's necessary in order for you to grow, really. I want to get some clarifications. Let me see. Please clarify the Fool for me, Spirit. Page of Wands, yeah. It's really much, it's really emphasizing that kind of youthful, overly enthusiastic energy, and it gives me this feeling like many of you have entered relationships with an open heart, only to get completely disappointed and heartbroken. And please clarify the Tower for me, Spirit. Please clarify the Tower for me. These, both of them. We have Justice and the Two of Swords. Justice and the Two of Swords. Wow. I mean, this for some of you, it's oh my God, it's so fascinating because this card spoke of contracts. This is definitely overall, the month of March, this is about rethinking your relationships. But for some of you more specifically, I mean, this is even about you considering ending a legal relationship or a legal contract. Especially with the Two of Swords here, this shows that this is not an easy situation. I feel Two of Swords speaks of hesitation. It speaks of kind of being at a crossroads and feeling like you cannot make a decision. And the Justice is also, well, it has to do with everything legal. It also has to deal with, to some extent, well, a situation where you're being, evaluated somehow. You're being evaluated. Either you're being evaluated, you're the one doing an evaluation. And then these are clarifying the Tower. So what I'm getting out of this is that really your tendency to hesitate and to avoid making a decision. Justice also speaks of Libra energy, and the number 7 also connects to Libra. I mean, hello, actually has Libra written here. Hunting Moon, Libra, Baskets, Adult. So this is speaking about, look, for some of you, this is about some procrastination that you have done. And again, I'm guessing this is mostly about relationships, but it could even be a legal situation, like something's going to come to a crashing halt with the Tower. And again, I feel like I have to give you a heads up. This hasn't happened yet because this is the future. So this is what's going to happen if you don't change anything about the situation right now. Usually the Tower speaks of either, the Tower speaks of a collapse either way, but it's up to you how you manage it. Like, it could be coming, you could choose to be proactive and just decide to end the things that have to end, right? Or take action. And then you're kind of working with the energy of the Tower, so it's not going to be as painful. But if you are stubbornly resisting the change, it's going to be a very powerful and potentially painful collapse, a crashing down of something. And I feel with the Ten of Wands over here, this is a crashing down of a support system. So like I said, it could be one particular person, especially for those of you who know that you're in a troubled relationship romantically. That's definitely what this is about. But if not, this is about a relationship maybe to a specific person that you know has been rocky for a long time, or maybe it's detrimental to you. Maybe there are people around you that are toxic, that are eating up your energy. This month, you're going to be pressured to do something about these connections. Even though you have maybe postponed them up until this point, this is the month where things are going to change drastically. I would say, again, with the Tower, things are going to change even without you wanting them to change. Because that's usually what the Tower shows. Like I said, it is up to you to become aware of it. It's also interesting because we have the number 16 here, which boils down to a 7 as well on the Tower. So there's kind of like a reiteration of this number 7 here. And all of these other cards, like the outcome here of the month, the Strength and the Four of Pentacles and the Courage, these are encouragement cards. These are like telling you, and also the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is an energy that shows that you're going to be feeling pretty alone. And this is in the immediate future, right? This is the immediate future, and this is the long-term outcome of everything that's happening in this month. So the immediate future is that you're going to be feeling alone. You're going to be feeling like you have to shoulder a lot of responsibilities. And again, with this Tower underneath, this is definitely emphasizing this strong lack of support. Like you feeling you have to do everything by yourself. Or if you literally feeling like you end up being alone, because if you have to end painful relationships and those are the only relationships that you have, but they're toxic, of course in the immediate future you will deal with some feelings of loneliness, right? Until you heal yourself and start to form better connections. And we have the Guardian Angel over here, which is speaking of you being protected, all right? I feel like this is, Spirit telling you it may feel like you're alone sometimes, but there are people, there are guardian angels watching over you. I know not everyone believes in guardian angels, but I have very strong evidence. I've seen very strong evidence in my life to believe that they exist. Everyone has one or multiple guardian angels. So yeah, there are entities that are basically there to help you go through life. So it might even help to pray to guardian angels every now and then. And then we do have this, like, look at this. We have here's the thing. I have to say that for many of you, okay, this is an ending of a romantic relationship, maybe even a divorce, I have to say. Because we have the King of Wands and we have the Ten of Cups, which shows that at the beginning of the month, like right now when you come across this reading, you're in a pretty good place. We have the King of Wands, that's, purpose, that's being confident, full of energy. You feel like you have a good stability. Ten of Cups speaks of happiness overall, not just materially, but also in your connection. And usually the Ten of Cups speaks of family, speaks of the marriage partner and children. And then we have the King of Swords and the High Priestess. This is showing that what is going to guide you throughout the month of March is your strong intuition, and at the same time coupled with your rational ability, your ability to be very logical and see things clearly. So I feel Spirit is telling you that you have to trust your judgment, because you actually see things clearer than most people, and there might be people around you who are trying to gaslight you about various things. And here I have explained what this means with the Three of Swords and the Fool, also clarified by that Page of Pentacles. Yeah. I do feel like this is also, see, here's the thing. If none of this resonates, if let's say you're someone who has good connections, there's no particular person in your life that is toxic, or you don't feel like they're draining you in any way, this is simply a warning, okay? Because we had this with the Oracle card as well. We had this repeated in the cards, especially here with the Three of Swords, the Fool, and the Page of Wands. This warns you about being overly optimistic, especially since you come from a good place. So you're probably someone who maybe was even a little bit sheltered in life, or right now you have had a considerably long period where you have felt safe, where things have been going your way. And because of that, you tend to become overly confident, overly trusting. And so this is what could lead to this heartbreak. You know, you could be ending up in one disappointment after the other simply because you're just too trusting, too quick to fall in love, too quick to open up emotionally. So Spirit is telling you, guard your energy, right? Not to say that you have to shut down completely, but don't throw yourself headfirst without vetting a person, without getting time, taking time to get to know a person, right? So pace yourself, right? And then we have the Nine of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. Again, this is showing that you have had a recent history or the past that has been predominantly quite positive, especially financially. With the Nine of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, this shows that you most likely have been a person who has worked your way up to a position of relative stability, where right now you actually feel pretty good about where you are at, especially materially, like I said. And the Ten of Wands and the Tower, I have explained. This is potential near future unless you change something about it. And the ultimate outcome here is strength with the Four of Pentacles. So the ultimate outcome of what's happening in the month of March for you is that you are becoming stronger. You are getting to know yourself. And also with the Four of Pentacles, this is about you learning how to guard yourself, how to protect, not just to protect yourself emotionally, to protect what is yours. And also with the Four of Pentacles, this also speaks of you learn not to be overly focused on money and not to be overly focused on things that appear at face value. How should I put it? Like the face value aspect of things, whether it's people, whether it's situations. So you learn to basically trust your judgment, your intuition, your ability to assess someone's character. And with the strength, again, you find your inner strength, you find your confidence, you realize that really there aren't many things that can bring you down. And with the Four of Pentacles, there's a message about resourcefulness, right? Like you learn to become resourceful as a result of this. And yeah, also like this card suggested, this could be a good time where art or any kind of artistic pursuits are going to help you keep clarity and maintain your, good mood and your mental health and mental and emotional health. And you might even have some period of significant inspiration. I mean, and overall, I feel like a message here is that many of you, you're going to finally find the courage to do something that you maybe have wanted to do for a long time throughout this month. And like I said, I think for most of you, this is about your feelings. It's about overcoming fears and overcoming maybe overcoming this analysis paralysis and finally taking action in a certain direction that you have wanted to go into for a long time, but maybe you were afraid to. All right, this is what I see from the cards. Let me get Astro Oracle. Okay, Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What does the month of March hold for them? What's going to happen in the month of March for pile number 1? We have Virgo, the Alchemist. We have Taurus, the Sensual. We have opposition, tension, and opposites. We have 12th house, spirituality, and art. That's a confirmation. And we have Chiron with inner healing. Yeah. So I definitely feel that, again, there are confirmations here. With Taurus, this is about finding pleasure and joy in everyday activities. This is about, you know, the small pleasures of life. It's about enjoying a nice meal, having a nice bath, you know, taking more time to just savor the moment in little ways. And Taurus is also about finding your strength, your stability. It's about staying power. It's about stamina. It's about holding your ground, right? It's also about you being in a very solid energy, you know, kind of an immovable force, where you just feel, okay, this is what I want, and nobody's going to deter me from my path. And then with the Virgo, it's interesting because the Virgo, again, there is an inherent message of solitude with Virgo, even though it is, I mean, it's not necessarily true, of course, that all Virgos are going to stay single for the rest of their lives. But generally, the energy of Virgo as an archetype is one of self-sufficiency. It's the last of the so-called personal signs of the zodiac. It's the sixth sign right before Libra, the seventh sign, which is the sign of marriage, right? So Virgo is like the culmination of self-development. And they're very much focused on being self-sufficient, you know, taking care of themselves. This is why it's also very connected to taking care of the physical body, of the health. This is also a sign, speaking of health, of, you know, you focusing more on your health. And look at this, we have healing as well. So this could speak of a physical healing as well. See how that resonates. For those of you who have struggled with physical ailments, you could see an improving during this time. And it's specifically going to come through your conscious efforts, changes in lifestyle. And for those of you who don't particularly have physical ailments, this is about an emotional healing. Yeah. A psychological thing, you growing, you becoming stronger mentally and emotionally. And then, of course, we have the 12th house, spirituality and art, which reinforces what the card said, that this month is going to be very good for you when it comes to creativity, when it comes to intuition. We also have the High Priestess here, which is kind of backing up that 12th house energy, which is showing that your intuition is going to be in top shape this month. You should listen to your intuition, learn to listen to your inner voice, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to whatever, that nudge in your stomach that tells you not to trust someone. And you're, like I said, I feel like by the end of this month, you're going to learn how to trust yourself a lot more than before. And with the opposition, this is just speaking of those tensions that this card was warning about. So I see this as a confirmation that there is going to be one person or multiple people that you're going to find yourself in some kind of a tense situation with, and you're going to have to decide what you want to happen further in that connection, whether you even want to keep the connection or not. All right. And also one last message would be that Chiron is not just about healing, it's also about becoming kind of a teacher of healing for others. So it's the archetype of someone who has healed themselves and in turn becomes a healer because they understand how to heal these particular problems they have had in other people as well, right? So yeah, see how that resonates as well. For instance, if you're a doctor or you're in the medical field, you could be having more results with your patients during this time, just to give an example. Or even if you're irrespective of your profession, you might actually find that people ask you more for advice when it comes to certain physical or mental ailments because they can sense that you maybe have gone through similar things. All right, this is pretty much what I'm getting from the cards. Let me get the Astro dice. Spirit, tell me about pile number 1. What do they need to know about the month of March? What is the month of March 2025 going to bring for them? Tell me. Whoa. Okay, we also have Rahu, the north node of the moon. And oh my gosh, we have Taurus again. Very strong Taurus. And we have the number 11. Cool. Number 11 boils down to a 2, and I have seen the number 2 show up multiple times here. We have the 2 of Swords. We also have the High Priestess. So number 2 or number 11, this is actually a master number in numerology. It has to deal with, it's very much the High Priestess energy, even though we have the number 2 here. This number 11 would actually be way more appropriate for the High Priestess energy. because it's not, see, number 2, the moon, is about emotions, and number 11 is basically what some people would call the dark empath sort of energy. Maybe without the dark part necessarily, but basically what I think a dark empath is an empath that is very self-aware. So if an empath is not self-aware, that's number 2 energy in numerology. If they are self-aware, that's number 11. So number 11 is a spiritual teacher, a spiritual healer energy as well. So someone who is not just hypersensitive and super emotional, but someone who understands where those emotions are coming from, has a very strong understanding of human nature. And it's also someone who cares about things that are more metaphysical, more spiritual. So like I said, I think that for many of you, this is going to be a time of spiritual growth. It's about knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, and working with them basically, and becoming way more self-aware, way more confident, and trusting yourself by the end of the month. And then, of course, number 11 also speaks of potentially healing others or helping others. It's a humanitarian sort of energy. You can also see it from astrology. You can think of it as the 11th house, which is the house of, again, Aquarius, which is more broad-minded, humanitarian, focused on social issues. And it could also be the house of siblings. So it could be that this month the connection with your especially elder siblings or aunts and uncles could become closer, or somehow they're going to come to the forefront this month. And 11th house is also the house of gains from career. So you could be seeing, your career going well. Although looking at this spread, I have to say most of you are doing pretty well for yourselves. But I think by the end of this month, you're going to continue to do well and maybe increase your gains coming from your career and your social status. And with Taurus coming out prominently, this is such a strong emphasis on taking time to smell the roses. And it's also about, I have to say, you might also just find yourself kind of having an awakening of the senses, in the sense that maybe you were the kind of person who was always busy, or maybe you torture yourself with diets up until this point. This month, you're going to finally kind of realize that, hey, I actually like bread. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to kind of loosen up a little bit, start to enjoy yourself, because, I don't know, having maybe because of getting rid of toxic people, or maybe just because you decide you want to enjoy your life. Either way, Taurus can also speak of benefiting from spending time in nature, putting your hands in the ground, doing some gardening, stuff like that. Also working with your hands. So especially for those of you who are, but not only, but especially for those who are already maybe working in creative fields, or you have well-established hobbies, this is definitely an encouragement to work with your hands. Do pottery, do sewing, cooking even, because even cooking, kneading bread, stuff like that, things that are very tactile, that involve the 5 senses, all of these things are going to be favored for you in the month of March. And then there's also, of course, the message of financial stability with Taurus. So yeah, I don't see that you're going to have to worry about finances too much this month. Okay, and with Rahu, this is probably, and here I have to say with the 11th and the Rahu, there is a potential Aquarian energy here as well. I would say that also with the High Priestess a little bit, and the King of Swords. King of Swords is definitely Aquarius energy. So what this shows is, again, you could be having flashes of brilliance. With Rahu, this is most likely about you realigning with your original purpose. Rahu is in Vedic astrology especially, and even in the tropical astrology, it shows what you are meant to learn in this lifetime. It shows areas that you are not really comfortable with, but you constantly feel drawn to because you haven't experienced much of them in past incarnations. So Rahu can show that you will have this awakening this month where you're like, hey, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Or, hey, I always wanted to try this, but I never did up until this point. And this time you're going to finally make space for it. Right? Yeah, this is pretty much what I see. And of course, with Rahu, there might also be, and the 11th house, there could also be a more broadening of the social circle, or could be dealing more with foreigners, people from foreign cultures. But it could also show that you will meet new people, basically. And especially people that are going to be more aligned with your true nature and your true purpose in this lifetime. Okay, so this is pretty much what I have for you, pile number one. Again, I definitely felt there were a lot of strong, coherent messages here for you. I hope you have enjoyed this. I definitely have. And of course, feel free to comment in the comment section with any feedback you would like to share, as long as you keep it respectful. Of course, feel free to come back throughout the month of March. Tell me how this is progressing. And once again, I will remind you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and also consider clicking on the notifications bell if you want to see when I upload a new tarot reading. And then if you're interested in a private tarot reading, you can check out the video description. I have left my email address there. You can email me for a pricing list and more details about how to get a reading. I've also left a link in the video description to reviews I have gotten for private readings, in case you want to check them out. Might help you decide if you want to get a reading from me. And also, last but not least, I have an astrology channel where I focus mostly on Vedic astrology, but mainly with some tropical insights. I have more than 20 years of experience reading horoscopes, more than 10 in Vedic astrology, which is my preferred method. But I also use a lot of insights from all kinds of astrological systems and metaphysical sources of knowledge, including numerology, Chinese astrology, feng shui, all kinds of things. Yeah, but if you're curious about astrology, I mainly focus on Vedic astrology information on my channel. Go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye. Welcome, pile number two. This is your reading if you have chosen this crystal, the kunzite, and or this card with ancestors. This is going to be the card selection phase. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the interpretation. Spirit, tell me about pile number two. What is coming for them in the month of March? What do they need to hear about predictions for the month of March? Spirit, tell me about pile number two. What do they need to hear about the month of March 2025? Let's see what you got. We have the Empress, the Three of Swords, the Four of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, the Strength card, the Queen of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Queen of Wands underneath the Queen of Wands. Some really strong messages here. Wow. This is going to be a good month for you, pile number two. Spirit, please tell me about pile number two. What will the month of March 2025 bring for pile number two? What is the month of March 2025 going to bring for my pile number two? Let's see what we have. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, this card came out for pile number one as well. So if you felt drawn to pile number one, you might want to check it out. We also have Memories. Does not surprise me one bit, because we have the Queen of Wands coming out twice. So we also have the Three of Swords, but I'm going to get more into that. And we have this card, 60, South, Masculine, Summer, Adolescence, Water. And I'm going to read the description for that from the booklet. Let's see what it says. Number 60. Masculine, Summer, Adolescence, Water. I am the South. I am the summer rain. I am the protection of daylight. Within you is knowledge and power. The faith that you can accomplish all things must be nourished and protected. You must trust that which is within. The changes to be brought about through purification and healing will lead to renewal and growth. You are courageous. Holy moly, you are courageous. You are a warrior with the power and strength of youth. This is a confirmation of this courage card as well. You pick up the green shield of defense and protection, or choose the red shield of offense and aggression, but only with love in your heart. Walk your talk. I am day. I am water. All right, really strong messages for you. This is definitely some kind of renewal month for you. You are going to become much stronger, way more confident. And I see that already at the moment when you come across this reading. We have the Empress, we have the Eight of Wands underneath. This is showing that things are happening for you quickly. You're also in a very motivated energy with the Eight of Wands. You are very, how should I put it, in the flow. Like you feel like things are finally going your way, like they're picking up speed. You might be feeling like you're manifesting stronger, like you are starting to, trust in your ability to create the reality that you want. We also have the Empress. We have a lot of number 3 in this pile. We have the Three of Cups, Three of Swords, the number 3 on the Empress. We also have 30, Courage. So there's a lot of Jupiter energy. Jupiter is very expansive, all right? So you are expanding. You're growing rapidly in this month. Interestingly enough, the month of March also boils down to a number 3. It's the 3rd month of the year. So you're pretty much vibing, like you're making the most of this, oh, we also have the Three of Pentacles. I didn't even check that out. Like so many number 3s, or did I mention it? I don't remember. Either way, a lot of expansion. Things are happening for you fast. You're already in a pretty good position. This also shows that you are seen as very attractive. And you're kind of like going on a winning streak. Okay, maybe winning streak is a stretch, but you're on a very positive energy and people respond to you favorably, right? Even at the beginning of this month, when you come across this reading, whenever that is, right? And then we have the Three of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles underneath. This shows that you are very motivated by sometimes regret. I feel like many of you have felt like in the past you took too long, or you have worked hard. Maybe you have had a very traditional approach to life or your goals in general. Like you have listened to other people's opinions, you have taken the cautious path, and you just felt like you weren't progressing fast enough. This could also show a desire to be cautious because you have experienced some heartbreak. So it could be both things at the same time. So when it comes to affairs of the heart, for instance, this can show that you want to be cautious because you have had past heartbreaks. When it comes to money and life in general and you reaching your goals, this can show that you are motivated by the fact that you have followed the wrong methods for a long time, or that's how you feel about it anyway. So you feel like you have left behind, or you're leaving behind more conventional ways of doing things. And now you're finally finding a method or a way of working that is really bringing results. And like I said, this could be about goals. This could be about life in general, anything that you want to achieve. And then we have the Four of Swords and the Three of Cups in opposition. So this can show that you have prioritized relationships with others too much in the past, sometimes at your detriment. This could also show that you have wanted to keep peace, to keep harmony in your relationships at the expense of your own goals and your own ambitions. This could also show that maybe for a long time you have turned a blind eye to some people's shortcomings in order to maintain those connections, because maybe you feared loneliness, or just because you feared losing the security of certain personal relationships. Aside from that, we do have the Three of Pentacles, we have the Four of Wands. This is really specific, but for some of you, this could show that recently, or in the recent past, or at some point in the past, you have successfully completed an education or an apprenticeship. For some of you, maybe you have completed a trial at a job, for instance, successfully. And because we have the Three of Pentacles, we have the Four of Wands underneath. You have been very success driven in general. So you have worked hard in order to gain in the future. But I feel like many of you are still pretty frustrated pretty frustrated about the place you're at right now. When it comes to your overall life goals and especially career and finances, I feel like you're not super happy with where you are. But this also speaks of, the general vibe that I'm getting here with all this number 3 is that you are becoming more take charge. By the end of this month, you're going to be a lot more focused on just doing exactly what you want, as opposed to, I feel, as opposed to trusting others and to, again, taking the conventional path. So yeah, I feel like this is more specific for those of you who have considered, starting your own business, becoming more independent. You're kind of starting to go into that direction, making your own money, starting a side hustle, starting an Etsy shop or whatever it is, right? You're becoming more independent. You're working more towards just completing your personal vision, or like going for what makes you happy, as opposed to taking the conventional path. In the future, we have the Strength by the Two of Cups. This is a really cool reading. I mean, and especially when it comes to the area of relationships, what this is showing me is that your endurance is going to pay off. And this means that because of your ability to stand true to yourself, to not compromise on what is truly important to you, you're going to be rewarded with a very nice relationship, a relationship that is based on mutual respect, understanding, support, the kind of relationship that you have always wanted. There is, especially, like, there's so much heart energy here. We have the number 11 on the Strength, and we have the number 2 here. So that's a lot of moon energy. That's a lot of emotions, deep emotions. So I feel like in the future, right, you're going to be heading towards this. You're heading towards this. This doesn't necessarily mean by the end of March, right? This is the future, but this is the consequence or the result, because it's more of a positive thing, of everything that you're going to go through in the month of March, right? So you deciding to prioritize your standards, not compromising, sticking to your guns, basically, it's going to result in a happy partnership, a happy relationship. And I see that this is someone new. This is not like an ex. This is, maybe for most of you, this is not even someone that you've met. It could be someone that you already know, but not someone you've had a romantic connection with. And then ultimately we have the Queen of Wands coming out twice. I mean, hello. Queen of Wands is like Xena, warrior, princess energy here. Queen of Wands is very ambitious, very determined, someone who knows who she is, someone who is not afraid to go after what she wants, someone who's just unapologetically herself, someone who is authentic. This is also Sun energy, Leo energy. So see how that resonates. Maybe for some of you actually have prominent placements and Sun dominant energies in your horoscope. I mean, I'm going to still get a clarification because I'm curious. Spirit, please clarify the Queen of Wands here. Please clarify the Queen of Wands for me. This one. Page of Wands. Okay, more fire. So Page of Wands also speaks of a young, enthusiastic, youthful energy. So this is the vibe that I'm getting here. You're heading towards a new beginning. It may not happen by the end of March, but you are heading there. You are going in this direction. A new beginning that will make you, that shows you as someone who's very authentically themselves and confident, and you don't feel like any part of yourself is in the way of your progress, if that makes sense. Like you're finally going to find a path that just makes you happy, that makes you fulfilled. And you're going to be approaching this with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of energy. I see a lot of vitality as well. There could be a lot of like a strengthening of your energy, of your vitality overall in the month of March. And we have ancestors and memories, and honestly, the Queen of Wands speaks of shadow sides as well. So I feel like for many of you, this is also about healing maybe ancestral traumas, childhood traumas. But I feel like this is more of an ancestral, like a bad circle, a bad cycle of something that has been repeated in your bloodline for a long time. And I feel like finally moving away from your self-sabotaging sides. That's what I'm seeing here. like I said, it may not be 100% that you're going to be at this place by the end of March, but you are heading in that direction. This is going to happen in the future, basically, as long as you stay on your path and basically take into account everything I've said up until this point about, like I said, I do see that there is a need here to stay true to yourself. I feel like you are the kind of people, not to offend or anything, but you're the kind of people that I feel cares too much about other people's opinions. Yeah, this is what I'm getting here. Like, you're afraid to make waves and stuff. Okay, let me get the Astro cards. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What's going to happen for them in the month of March? Oh, wow, we have the Capricorn. Wow. Tell me. Oh, wow. Okay, so many strong confirmations. We have Capricorn, the boss. We have Uranus, change and new beginnings. What did I say? This is a new beginning. We have 11th house, community and technology. We have 1st house, self and identity. We have 5th house, joy and play. So the 5th house is a very strong confirmation of the Queen of Wands. This is Leo energy. 5th house corresponds to Leo. This is about being your authentic self. I feel like, again, most of you have felt, maybe in your families, that you were never fully embraced for who you truly are, for your authentic selves. You know, there are a lot of families out there, and I think this has been the case for most of human history, who care about their children, but only as much as, you know, only as long as the child serves them. And only as long as the child basically carves out parts of themselves that are essential to their identity, but that are detrimental to the interest of the family, if that makes sense. So as a consequence, the child grows up feeling like, okay, they are taken care of, they get room and board, and they, you know, they have cool supplies or whatever, and their parents maybe send them to courses, but their parents never fully embrace them as an individual for like the things that they are truly good at, the things that they really want to do with their lives. So I feel like this is the kind of pile where a lot of people feel like resonate with these energies, right? Where you just have felt like, okay, maybe you could be someone who has a good social status, who has a good career even, or a decent career, all right? I'm not seeing like overflowing levels of success here, but, you know, pretty good results, okay? But you may not be successful in the things that you wanted to be successful in, if that makes sense. Like, you still have a lot of frustrations with respect to dreams that you've never pursued, things that you've never tried, you know, things that make you feel like you're not really doing the main thing you should be doing. And obviously this is a really tough position to be in. I'm not sugarcoating it, but this is spirit telling you that, you know, it's time for you to take action. And with the 8 of Wands, this shows that you have the power to manifest. All right, a lot depends on your focus, a lot depends on what you want to work towards, and so make the right decisions. 1st house, again, speaks of having to put yourself first. This is a house of Aries. This is about, you know, putting yourself first, about being like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be rude, but this is about asserting yourself, asserting your needs, and being like, hey, this is who I am. You know, I'm here, I'm not changing, this is what I want to be. Also, the 1st and the 5th house show that this month you might be standing out more than usual because of this renewal of energy, right? And even further down the line, because like I said, this is speaking of future developments as well. So it's not like it's going to stop at the end of March. 11th house, again, this is about friendships. This is about friendship circles. This is potentially about becoming more socially active, maybe finding new friends, finding new acquaintances. This can also, with the Aquarius energy, you know, we have the Uranus in the 11th house and we have the Capricorn. I have to say this month is also going to be very good when it comes to progress in career overall. Like, you're finally going to get some of the results that you have wanted to see for a long time. Capricorn speaks of working for something diligently for a long time and seeking, you know, seeing the results in direct accordance to how much effort you put in, right? So especially for those of you who who know that you have worked towards something diligently for a long period of time, this is the month where you're going to start to reap what you have sown. For those of you who have still, you know, yet to decide on, you know, something to focus your energy on, Of course, that's not going to show that you're going to win the lottery overnight or you're going to have huge fame overnight. It actually speaks of the need to be patient, to be disciplined, to be patient. I said patient, disciplined, and to be focused, right? So to decide, this is what I want for my life and this is what I'm going to diligently work towards, no matter what the world thinks, no matter what noise is happening on the outside. You know, sticking to your guns, keeping your eyes on the prize, basically. With the first house and the fifth house and the Capricorn, this could also be about a glow up. Although with the Empress in the position in the beginning, I see most of you are very pleasant in appearance. People tend to have a pleasant appearance, pleasant opinion about you. But fifth house and first house can also show that during this month, you're going to be way more focused on your fitness, your physical body, your strength. I would say mostly fitness. I would not necessarily say huge health problems or anything like that. But I would say, yeah, you might feel this urge to become more physically fit, to be more active, to take care of your appearance. Maybe, I don't know, see a stylist or reconsider, you know, go through your clothes and decide which you want to wear, which are more like you and which aren't. So yeah, this is a month where you're going to start to pay more attention to yourself, pay more attention to your appearance, how you come across, and also expressing yourself creatively, because the fifth house is about doing what you love ultimately. So this is a great time of, you know, you're probably going to feel this, but it also is up to you to put effort into it, right, as well, and make time for the things you care about, because it's not going to happen supernaturally. But the fifth house is definitely showing that the universe is favoring your authenticity. It's favoring you getting back into that energy of play, of figuring out what you love to do, and without considering monetary gain or social opinions and all that. And this is also a great month for you who are involved in teaching, working with kids. For those of you who are, you know, expecting a child or you want to get pregnant, again, this is a sign that you're going to have high chances in this month. And then with the fifth house, like I said, it's also about you doing something you love, potentially even doing something you love for a living. So like switching careers. It's also about academia and knowledge, right? Like I said, there's a lot of Jupiter in this energy as well because of all the number threes. Jupiter is the planet of faith, and it's the planet of academia, publishing, journalism, traveling. So this is going to be a month where you're going to be expanding your horizons, and you're going to have more opportunities to educate yourself. If you feel drawn to any books, for instance, or courses during this month, you might really want to consider pursuing them, because there could be some very strong reason why you are drawn to them, even though you don't see in the immediate present moment why they might help you, right? It could be something that would lead, you know, like one thing leads to another, and I don't know, maybe you take a course in, I don't know, programming, and then later you might invent something, just to give you a random example, right? But really pay attention to everything that, you know, feels like something you want to experience this month, just for the sake of it, right? Not because you're thinking this is going to make me money or this is going to bring me approval, just because you want to or you're curious about it. Pay attention to those books, those courses, and think about making time for them. Also, I mean, we have this masculine summer adolescence. Oh my God, this is I didn't even realize what a strong confirmation is, because of the two of Queen of Wands coming out and then Page of Wands. You're kind of like having a rebirth. Irrespective of your age, you could be having that renewal of energy, of purpose, and you're going to be heading towards results. You know, you're going to be heading to enthusiasm, energy, and vitality. And finally, doing something you love, I think, in life. Okay, the Astro Dice. Let me see. Spirit, tell me about pile number 2. What is the month of March 2025 going to bring for them? Oh my God. Number 3 again. What did I say? We also have Cancer. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's the psychology part. That's the dealing with traumas, ancestral karmas, especially from the mother side of the family. Maybe the relationship with the mother is going to come to the forefront this month. You might have to analyze it, talk about it in therapy. And here we have Mars, which is ruling, of course, corresponds to the first house. It rules Aries and Scorpio in Vedic astrology, at least. And this is really reinforcing a lot of this. So Mars also, like I said, is showing more competitiveness. It's showing more of a desire to assert yourself, to focus more on being physically active, taking care of your body. And definitely a lot of masculine energy, I have to say. Even with that moon coming in, I mean, hello, we have this masculine adolescence. There's a lot of fire here. So I'm seeing a lot of renewal of enthusiasm, vitality, and even of health, especially. So I think for those of you who have especially struggled with maybe mental health issues, you're definitely going to see an improvement by the end of March. But again, you still have to work for it. It's not going to happen magically. But if you trust yourself, if you trust those intuitive hints and you take into account everything I have said in this reading, you are well on your way to really improving your mental health. And the third house can also, this can also refer to the third house, not just the number 3, which is ruled by Jupiter. And that also goes hand in hand with courage, because in Vedic astrology, the third house is the house of independence, self-reliance, of fighting for what you want. So again, this is a confirmation for those of you who want to become more independent, like for instance, having your own side hustle, your own business. This is a pat on the back from Spirit that you are on the right track if you are thinking about these things. And this is also showing an improvement of your communication style, maybe connections to neighbors, connections to siblings as well, chances for short-term or short-distance travels. And third house, like I said, so it's about a renewal of your courage overall. Like you're going to find way more drive, way more gutsiness, way more of a, how should I put it, no-nonsense approach as opposed to the previous time before March, right? Okay, so this is pretty much what I have for you, pile number 2. I hope you have enjoyed this reading. I definitely have. Again, very strong, coherent messages. Feel free to comment in the comment section with anything you want to share about this reading, how it resonated, how it didn't resonate. Of course, keep it respectful, please. Feel free to come back throughout the month of March or even later and think about this reading, see how it resonated in retrospect. It would really help me if you commented. And aside from that, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also consider clicking the notifications bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new reading. And if you would like to support my channel further, of course, you can do so by becoming a member for a small monthly fee, or leaving a tip, or just sharing this video to as many people as possible. All of those things are very much appreciated. Also, if you would like to get a private reading from me, I have left my email address in the video description. You can email me for a pricing list, reading options, and other details. I've also left a link in the video description to reviews I have gotten for private readings before. You might want to check them out. It might help you decide if you want to get a reading from me. And last but not least, I have an astrology channel where I focus mainly on Vedic astrology, but also with some tropical insights. And I have more than 20 years of experience reading horoscopes, more than 10 of reading Vedic astrology. And yeah, if you like astrology, go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe to my channel in astrology. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye. Welcome, pile number 3. This is your reading if you have chosen this card over here with Divine Timing and or this citrine cluster crystal. This is going to be the card selection phase. I'm going to add timestamps so you can skip directly to the interpretation. Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What is the month of March 2025 going to bring for them? What do they need to hear about the month of March 2025? Let's see. We have 2 of Swords, we have 3 of Swords, we have the Empress, we have 3 of Pentacles, we have 8 of Swords, we have Queen of Wands. Okay, Spirit, tell me about pile number 3. What should they expect from the month of March 2025? So we have the Devil. Six of Pentacles, King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, the Fool, Four of Pentacles. I can already see some common themes with both of the other piles in different ways, but of course you don't have to check them out unless you feel drawn to them. Let me get some oracle cards. Tell me about pile number 3, Spirit. Tell me about pile number 3, Spirit. What does the month of March 2025 hold in store for them? What does the month of March 2025 hold in store for pile number 3? Tell me. Tell me, Spirit. Okay. Let's see the oracle cards. So we have contentment. And we have home, number 35. Okay. And we have this card, number 62, North Masculine Winter Elder. I'm going to read the description for this from the booklet. Let me see. So, I am North. I am the North. I am the cold air of winter. I am the night of dreamtime. It is from my direction that knowledge and strength are found. I am truth, and with this truth is found stability. My strong winds bring change. In weather, work, and life, listen to the teacher within to receive knowledge. Use that knowledge properly, and you have wisdom, and with wisdom, power. All right, so yeah, 62 boils down to a number 8 in numerology, which is a number that is ruled by Saturn and or Pluto. It can also be seen as corresponding to the 8th house, which is the house of Scorpio. Yeah, that's probably, I mean, I wonder if the people who, or person who made these cards knows numerology. I'm guessing she does because yeah, we have elder here, winter and elder. Those are Saturnian energies. Or of course it could just be because the numbers themselves elicit a certain energy. I have a whole theory about this, but I might make a video about it at some point on my astrology channel. And you have the number 8 coming out twice here. We also have 35 with home. So there's a lot of Saturn energy. There's a lot of power energy here. There's a lot of materialism, a lot of Saturn and Pluto. We definitely have a lot of Scorpio energy here, an energy of transformation. Maybe some of you actually have Scorpio placements, or you have a prominent Pluto energy. Maybe you have a lot of planets in the 8th house. Or you could be having some significant transits going through your 8th house right now. Yeah, it's really interesting because the 8th house is connected to ups and downs, sudden situations, sudden changes, unexpectedness, chaos to some extent. And we do have this original card with divine timing. Either way, okay, I'm going to take it step by step and see what I get here. We have the Two of Swords and the Devil underneath. Okay, I'm going to get a clarification already because I want to know. Please clarify the Devil for me, Spirit. I would like a clarification, please. Five of Wands. Please clarify the Five of Wands. Too many. Please clarify the Five of Wands, Spirit. Knight of Wands. So what I'm seeing here is at the moment when you come across this reading, you are, for lack of a better word, you're feeling stuck. That's the main feeling I'm getting here, because the Two of Swords is an energy of hesitation. It's an energy of feeling like, in a way, you are in limbo. I would say it's similar in some ways to the Hanged Man, but the Two of Swords especially speaks of analysis paralysis. So having multiple choices or thinking that you have multiple choices, which basically keeps you from choosing one path and sticking to it. And it's especially telling that the devil is clarifying the Two of Swords, and then you have the Knight of Wands and the Five of Wands clarifying the devil. Basically, what this is speaking of is misdirected energy, misdirected passion. What this is showing is that you have a tendency to get easily scattered, to get easily tempted away from your path. It's definitely, and also now I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's starting to, you know, take shape in my mind. What I'm seeing here with the number 8 coming out twice with the North. This also makes me think of, you know, I don't know how many of you, well, many people have watched Game of Thrones. So if you have watched Game of Thrones, you know, it makes me think of how they kept talking about the winter coming and the White Walkers coming, and like the North remembers and all that. Like the whole concept of people from the North on the wall, the North Wall, was that their whole lives were just about preparation for the long winter, right? And these mythical undead creatures that were going to come and kill everyone. So it really kind of makes me think of, you need to stop being the proverbial grasshopper that sang all summer, and you need to start becoming more of the ant. If you know that fable, I don't know who wrote that fable, but it's a very famous one, and I'm sure many people have heard about it. You know, about the grasshopper who sang all summer, and then when winter came, he starved, or, well, he didn't, I don't remember what the ending was, but he went begging to the ant who was diligent and, you know, worked step by step. And the ant in that fable is the Saturn archetype, right? That is the Saturnian energy. It's taking things step by step, planning, doing things in a way that is maybe repetitive and boring, but leads to security, leads to long-term goals and long-term results, really. So yeah, I'm definitely getting an overall vibe here that Spirit is telling you need to become more disciplined. This is one message that is coming on very strongly. But yeah, this is your general energy around the time when you come across this reading. Then we also have the Three of Swords clarified by the Six of Pentacles. This is really specific, but I'm getting that some of you, what is going to drive you in this month is some kind of a disappointment connected to studying or teaching. I know this sounds really specific, and I'm sure it's not for everyone, but for example, I don't know, you could be disappointed with yourself, for instance, about not having learned enough in a particular field, or maybe feeling like you haven't progressed enough spiritually up until this point, like you feel you haven't quote unquote learned your lesson, or you keep repeating the same mistakes. That could be one example. Another thing could be with respect to teaching. I don't know, that's more specific, but if some of you are teachers, you could be looking into trying to perfect your teaching ability, your ability to connect to others, to relate to people from all kinds of other backgrounds, right? And you're also going to be driven by a desire to be of service, you know, to help other people, to help humanity in general. I feel like you're maybe going to go through a realization during this month that you were more selfish. You know, you have been too selfish in recent history, and now you're thinking about where do you fit in the big picture and how can you help others, right? That's actually a general step in the maturity, the psychology of growing up in many ways. I don't remember where I read this, but there was this story about, well, it was an analogy actually about how do you know when you truly become an adult. It was something like, until you become an adult, you're looking at a mirror. So basically, as if to say that when people are growing up, they're very self-absorbed and everything is about them, and how do people think of them, and how do they come across, and what do they get out of things, and then once the mirror breaks and you finally see past the mirror, that's adulthood. Like once you actually see the whole world around you and other people existing and other people having needs. And you start to actually think about, hey, what about others, or how can I help others? That's real adulthood. Maybe I haven't even 100% remembered it correctly, but it was something along those lines. I remember it made an impression on me. So I feel like maybe some of you could be going through something like that, where you are rethinking where you stand in the grand scheme of things, or you might be kind of like, looking around, looking for a frame of reference, and realizing that, yeah, you're putting things into perspective and realizing that maybe you were a little bit too superficial, like too self-absorbed, caring about things that are not really important. Yeah, so I'm seeing this kind of like recalibration of your goals in many ways. And what I see in opposition here, we have the Empress and the King of Swords. It's interesting that we have the King of Swords here, but there's a woman on the card. Anyway, and what I want to say though with the King of Swords and the Empress is, what I'm seeing here is more of your tendency to be hyper analytical. So I feel like Spirit is telling you that this month, really, what is actually standing in your way, in the way of your progress, is your tendency to be hyper analytical. It is your tendency to split hairs, it is your tendency to have that analysis paralysis, because you're probably a very rational person and you're used to being, really relying on rationality to the point where you stop seeing the woods for the trees, and Spirit is telling you that you need to take a step back. And also the Empress speaks of superficiality, especially for the women here who are watching this, or let's say even men who are in their feminine energy. This can just show that you are a little bit too self-obsessed, too self-absorbed. You are caring a lot more about what other people can do for you rather than what you can do for them, right? So this is somehow standing in the way of your progress, of your growth as a person. And in the past, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So this is definitely showing me, oh, this makes a lot of sense also with the number 8 coming through. I think that you have been working towards, see how this resonates. Some of you could have been scattering your energies, working on multiple goals, but then you do have one or two, or maybe a handful of goals that you have put in persistent effort towards in recent history, in your past. And I do see that your motivation, though, your motivation to study and to succeed professionally, was entirely driven by material desires, especially desires for money and social status. So you have studied, maybe you have, let's say, graduated a college degree thinking that it was going to bring you a lot of money, but you ended up becoming, well, disillusioned with that ultimately, considering this overall spread here. Right, so this is what I'm seeing. And then we have the Eight of Swords, we have the Fool. Right, so in the future, this is the Eight of Swords, this is the Fool. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to happen by the end of March, but in general, this is a very beautiful, coherent message, because I did mention this message coming through twice already in multiple ways, that you tend to be hyper analytical, hyper rational. And the Eight of Swords with the Fool underneath is a very clear message that in the future, you are going to learn to trust your intuition more. You're going to learn to listen to that inner voice, to that nudge, or that, little something in your stomach that is telling you which way to go. And actually, I want to get another clarification because I'm curious. Please clarify the Fool, Spirit. We have the Hermit. Yeah. It's making a very clear picture. So basically, the Hermit speaks of you becoming more more selective, of you becoming more kind of nonsensical when it comes to going after what you want. Basically, in the future, you will learn to follow your heart's desire and have the courage to stand on your own, even if you don't have a lot of support from other people. In one word, authenticity. You're becoming more authentic in the future as a consequence of all the processes you're going to be going through in the month of March. And not only, but of course, I'm looking at the month of March now. And we do have the Queen of Wands and the Four of Pentacles. Again, I want to get another clarification. Bear with me. Please clarify the Four of Pentacles, Spirit. Okay, this one. Six of Swords. Okay, so you, in the, like, the overall outcome, yeah, of this month is Queen of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Six of Swords. So basically what this is showing is, number one, you're going to become more confident. You're going to become more authentic. Yeah, the courage to be yourself is coming through multiple times. And then we have the Four of Pentacles speaks of self-reliance, resourcefulness, you know, and actually learning to let go of your obsession with money. And I'm sorry that I'm using a strong word like that, but I really feel like for many of you, this is a big drive in your life. Like, you're very driven to succeed materially. And Spirit is telling you that actually you're going to learn to not overly obsess on money and instead focus on your resourcefulness, your ability to land on your feet, and your ability to also get by with considerably little without thinking, oh, I'm going to have, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of euros or dollars or whatever in my bank account, and that's going to make me sleep well at night because I know I'm taken care of. You are going to turn more into a Bear Grylls sort of individual. I don't know if you know who Bear Grylls is this guy who was famous for drinking his own piss. Sorry. And no, it wasn't anything weird or fetishy. It was about he's a guy who likes to play survival stuff, you know, so he goes into the wild and sees how he can survive on very little. So I'm not saying you're going to get to that extent, but the bottom line is Four of Pentacles speaks of an ability to get by on very little, you know, to get by on much lower than you could have imagined, you know, and getting comfortable with it, not becoming repulsed by, oh my God, I have to buy the cheaper toilet paper or something. I feel like, in one word, what you are seeing as a result of this month is you're basically becoming less materialistic, more spiritual, more focused on things like being authentic, being yourself, having a life of meaning on a spiritual plane, as opposed to, you know, just having a lot of stuff or having a lot of social status, for instance. Yeah, pretty much. We also have that message of the home, and we have content. Yeah, Holy Mother of Christ. Contentment and home are basically, the whole reading is giving me the same vibe, which is, like I said, you know, it makes me feel like you're going to realize what is important in life. That's pretty much the result of this month. I'm seeing a lot of transformation as well. So it's going to be a pretty transformative time for you, the month of March. And it's more like an internal transformation of how you see the world. It's going to change. Yeah, and you're definitely moving away from the stress of constantly worrying about money. Now, of course, if you, I mean, depending on how you look at it, this could also just mean that money is going to come by relatively easily and you're not going to have to worry about it. But I also think simultaneously, this is more about you gaining confidence in your ability to be resourceful, to get out of difficulties, to always land on your feet. And as a consequence, you're actually going to learn to relax a little bit and be like, hey, the universe takes care of me. Also, I have the ability to pull myself out of unpleasant situations. I don't need to be hoarding tons of money, tons of objects, a lot of wealth and all that. Yeah, this is what I'm seeing here. All right. So I'm really curious how this resonates because it feels like really specific. in messages. Okay, give me some Astro card spirit. Tell me about pile number 3. What is the month of March 2025 going to bring? Let's see. We have opposition, tension, and opposites. We have Cancer. Wow, we have Cancer with home. Makes sense. We have Jupiter. I was going to say, but I didn't say it. I don't know why I didn't say it. There's a lot of number 3s going on as well, which is Jupiter energy. And we have 12th house, spirituality and art. Spirituality, hello. And we have Taurus, the sensual. So, opposition makes me feel of this dichotomous energy. I feel like opposition in this case speaks of an internal conflict. And I think in your case, it's the conflict between a desire for freedom and authenticity, and on the other hand, a desire for comfort and security. I do think that in this month of March, you're going to really spend some time with family. I feel like maybe the relationship with the mother or the mother side of the family is especially favored, especially emphasized this month. I also think that with the Cancer and the Taurus, you are learning to take pleasure in the small things of life, maybe slow your pace. I see this also with the 12th house and also with that 4 of Pentacles. You're going to learn to enjoy what you have, this month. And it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean like you're settling or something, but it's more like you're going to be looking around and you're going to see that, hey, actually, I don't have such a bad situation. I have a lot of good things going for me, in a way that, you start to look around with a fresh pair of eyes at your circumstances and you start to become grateful. And Taurus and Cancer, kind of are homebodies. They care about the home base. So maybe in this month, you're going to be more, cozy. You want to spend more time closer to home, closer to family, with people that you really trust, you really like, that allow you to be yourself. Taurus especially speaks about enjoying the small pleasures of life. So the everyday necessities are Mother Nature's recipes. That's a song from the 90s Disney movie of, God, what was it called? Sorry, I'm tired. The Jungle Book, right? The Jungle Book or the Jungle Books. Anyway, it was a song that Baloo the bear was singing. The bare necessities or Mother Nature's recipes. And he was like, that song is like the embodiment of Taurus energy, where he's like, the bees are buzzing in their trees to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you, or something like that. So it's like that song of like, I'm so happy, I'm comfortable, I'm like cozy, in my lane, thriving, all that. So this is the kind of vibe that I'm getting here from you, pile number 3, in the month of March. And it's probably gonna be like a learned thing, But I also think that with that, see, I didn't want to say this because it sounds a little bit negative, but to be fair, this is not a feel-good reading, because I've said this before. I read what I see in the cards. It's not a feel-good reading. I tell you what I see here, because there's a reason why the messages are coming through the way that they are. You have to hear them. And with that North card, I'm guessing you're just not going to be going through a lot of financial abundance this month, right? So this is, out of the 3 piles, I have to say probably this is the one that is the more financially challenged. Let me put it like this. And of course, it's not going to be a permanent thing. It doesn't mean you're going to be living in poverty for the rest of your life or anything like that. For some of you, depending on your circumstance, you might actually see an improvement when it comes to your finances, but it's still not going to be in a point where you feel you're lavishing, like you're overflowing with abundance and you can just afford to throw crazy amounts of money on silly expenses, right? I'm definitely seeing that frugality that has to kick in, right, in order to manage your resources. But at the same time, the fact that you have to, tighten your belt and rethink about where you're spending your money, it's actually going to make you notice all the things that you have, in a weird way, if that makes sense, you know? I don't know if I can express it. You know how when you have to live on very little and you start to look around and you start to see how everything is a resource? Like, oh, I don't know, an old pack of, an old box or something. An old box or, let's say a plastic box that you had body lotion in, you can use it for something else. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you're going to be starting to look around and be like, oh, actually, I have tons of resources. You know, I just have to learn how to manage them efficiently, and I actually am very rich. That's what I'm getting. All right. See how it resonates. I'm really curious. Please comment in the comment section because this is an interesting reading here. All right. Let's see the Astro dice. Just a moment. Please clarify. Spirit, not clarify. Please tell me. Sorry, I'm tired, y'all. It's probably like 5:30 in the morning when I'm doing this after a night shift. That is dedication to my craft. I'm sorry if I sound a bit drunk. Anyway, so Spirit, tell me about the month of March 2025 for pile 3. What are they to expect? Wow, we have the number 10, which corresponds to Saturn. All right, so we have that reinforcement of the Saturn energy. We have the 12th house and the Pisces. That's the strong emphasis on spirituality. And we have the moon again. So the moon is, oh my God, the moon is coming out again twice in energy. And we do have that full energy. So there's definitely this strong reinforcement of the idea that you're learning to trust your intuition. I also honestly feel with the energies coming through here, you're going through a phase of healing. This is what I'm seeing, a phase of rest. Oh my God. There is a book that you might enjoy. Gosh, I don't remember what her name was, but it's called The Winter of the Soul. I think that's what it's called. I'm going to try to look for it. So if you're curious, please comment in the comment section. I will look for exactly the title. I think it's called The Winter of the Soul. And it's not like a really intense, it's not like an adventure book. It's a very nicely written book about the times in one's life when you just have to rest, you know, where it's okay to unwind, to wind down your energy, to kind of hibernate a little bit. And I feel like for you, the month of March could be like that. You know, it's a time of refuge, maybe of you needing to take time off to relax, to rest, to replenish your energy, to be maybe a little bit more introspective, you know, and very focused on healing. And that's probably why finances are also going to take a step back in your existence, because you're going to be more focused on your clarity of purpose and your emotional self, as opposed to, you know, the hustle and bustle of making it in the material world. And of course, with Pisces, not only do you have heightened intuition, you also have heightened creativity. The 12th house speaks of isolation to some extent, but considering the rest of your cards, it's most likely going to be a willful isolation. It's going to be you feeling a need to, like I said, wind down, take some time off, insist on being only around people who accept you for who you are and who support your healing. This is what I'm seeing, right? Or sometimes you just need to take a step back in order to regain clarity with respect to your circumstances. And it could be something like that, or it could be the previous explanation that I gave about you just needing to heal, maybe emotionally, maybe from traumas or things that have happened, stressors, whatnot, because the 12th house is also the house of sleep and rest. So yeah, you could be sleeping more, needing to rest more. Jupiter is, however, also about faith. So Jupiter rules Pisces, actually. So it is also about faith. It's also about expansion. Considering the spread here, this is most likely a spiritual expansion for you. You could be expanding your knowledge as well. So again, if you feel drawn to certain books, certain podcasts, certain courses, I don't know, even certain universities, for those of you who are, you know, looking to get a degree, you should really consider pursuing those things, because there's probably a reason why you feel drawn to them. Okay, and I do want to mention this. I think I have mentioned it during the selection phase, but I do want to mention it again, that you do have some common messages with pile number 2. You'll also have some common messages with pile number 1, but you also have a lot of very unique messages that are especially for you. So I just thought I would mention this, because if you did feel drawn to the other piles, you might want to check out one or both of the other readings. There might be messages in there for you. All right, so this is pretty much what I have to say for you, pile number 3. I hope you have enjoyed it. I definitely have a lot of strong messages as usual. Oh my god, I told you I'm tired. Anyway, please comment in the comment section with how this resonated, which parts resonated, which didn't. Of course, try to keep it respectful, and you can just share anything you want. And of course, feel free to come back to this reading throughout the month of March, and maybe even later down the line, and see how, share how it resonated with respect to your future development. And also, before I sign off, I want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel it's the easiest way to support me, and it's free. And also click on the notifications bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new tarot reading. And aside from that, of course, if you want to contribute to my channel through becoming a member, you can you can just click on the join button under any of my videos and contribute through a small monthly fee. You could also just leave a tip, or of course share this video with as many people as possible. That also helps a lot. Any kind of help is much appreciated. And also, if you're interested in getting a private tarot reading from me, you can check out the video description. I have left a link to reviews that I have gotten for private readings. Might help you decide if you want to get one. And I've also left my email address there, so you can contact me for a list of prices and reading options and other details. And aside from that, last but not least, I also have an astrology channel, and I have linked it in the video description as well. I focus mainly on Vedic astrology, but also with some tropical insights. I have more than 20 years of experience reading astrological horoscopes, more than 10 in Vedic astrology, and that is my preferred system. And yes, that means I follow the sidereal zodiac, for those of you who are already asking that question. And I also use a lot of my insights from other schools of metaphysical, unconventional knowledge, such as Chinese astrology, like Batsa, Ziwei Doshu, and numerology, and feng shui, and all kinds of things, right? But mainly on my channel, I focus on Vedic astrology, because that is my preferred school of all things metaphysical. What can I say? Because to me, astrology is pretty metaphysical. It's definitely not an exact science. So anyway, yeah, if you're curious about astrology, go ahead and check it out. Maybe subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you at my next tarot reading. Bye.